Okay, Unit 12 is all about geometry basics. So Lesson 1 is the basic shapes. So for a point, what it looks like is a dot. So how's it drawn? It's just drawn with the dot. We name it using one letter, and it's usually uppercase. So you'll see right there. Okay, so the symbol is you can just put point P, or you can write out the words point P for your options. Okay, let's talk about a segment. So a segment looks like this. How is it drawn? It's drawn with a line with two endpoints. Okay, the way it's named is we use two uppercase letters. Okay, so AB. When you name the symbol, you put the symbol above it, and I can say AB. Usually mathematically, we do our naming in alphabetical order. If you said segment BA, that would be correct. You're just not going to see that ever on an answer key. All right, array. Array looks like this. So it is a segment with an endpoint and an arrow. Direction is important. So the way we name it is you're going to start with the endpoint letter, and then you name the second point, because there could be more than one point. Okay, so like here I would have A, and they would also give us another point given. So order is important on rays. When you name this, we're going to say ray goes on top, and some people only do their symbol like this. I like to do both, and we say AB. You are not allowed to reverse it. That would be a different ray. Lines. This looks like what you've been drawing all in this course. So how is it drawn? It's a segment with two arrows to show that it keeps going on forever. So we name this with two options, okay? So sometimes you can use one. It's usually an italicized letter, and it's usually lowercase. Or if they give you points, you'll use, and they're usually uppercase, two uppercase letters. Direction is not important. So they might call this line L, or you might see a line and they'll give you a couple of points. So for the symbol, you could say line L, or you could say line, and I could say MN. I could also reverse this and say NM. You just won't see that on answer keys. An angle always confuses students. So an angle, okay, how is it drawn? We've got, basically an angle is made up of two rays with a common endpoint. So that's what I'm going to say. Common endpoint. That's the technical definition. We name it, there's two different ways. So we either use three uppercase letters, or this is where it gets tricky. So I'll put a little asterisk here. If the angle is not touching any other angle and it's all by itself, you can use one letter, and it's the one in the middle that's at the end point. Okay, so for this one, if I said this, or I could say, these are not alphabetical, just so you know. I could say this one, since it's all by itself and these are not touching, if I said angle A, I would know which one I'm referring to, and we put the symbol in front. If I want to name it with the three letters, I need to go in the order that the angle is drawn. So we could say angle BAC, and notice A is in the middle, or I could go the other direction and say angle CAB. Okay, but naming angles seems to be the hardest. Now, a plane is kind of hard for students to understand. So you have to kind of think of a plane, like the top of this sheet is a plane, okay? It is two-dimensional, it's flat. So on a plane, and we just draw it with this little shape, okay? But these sides extend. They are actually made up of arrows, like if you could stretch it out and go bigger, okay? So the way we draw it is we kind of draw a parallelogram. We cannot measure a plane because these do extend. We don't draw arrows or lines, but they are made up of this is a line, this is a line, that is a line, and that is a line, okay? So the way we name it, two options. There might be one letter inside, or you're going to use four letters, and they're usually going to be uppercase. So sometimes you'll see like this. And then other times, the most common is you'll see the actual points that are on each of those. So we use a little symbol. I could say plane A for the top, or I could say plane, and you want to go in order. And you could start with any letter. So I could say A, and I could go A, D, C, B. Or I could go start with C, and I could go the other direction, C, D, A, B. But there's going to be lots more. Okay? So there's also some vocabulary we want to go over. We're going to use this cube, and we're going to go over what parallel lines are, skew lines, and intersecting lines, or segments. Depends on your shape. So parallel means that they're going to go in the same direction, and they're not intersecting. So if I want to name an example, I could say TQ, so segment TQ, and the symbol for parallel is two vertical lines. TQ is parallel to SR. Okay. I could also say TQ is parallel to ON. And I could say there's more. Those are just two examples, but you could do QM, RN, but they have to go the same direction. Now, skew gets missed a lot. So skew means that it is not parallel. Everybody gets that, but not intersecting. Okay, so I'm going to start with TQ. There's no symbol for skew. So TQ and, so I want something that's not parallel with that and it's not going to touch it. So if I look at TQ, look at SO. So TQ and SO, those will never cross and they're not parallel. But not parallel is the key. Here's MN. So let's do MN. That is skew with lots of them, but I could pick TP. All right, intersecting means to touch. They cross. So there is no symbol for intersecting either. So TS, well, that touches a couple. It touches TQ, TP. Notice they're going to have the same letter when they intersect. So N, let's do NR. So NR intersects with NO and NM. I'll just pick NO.